What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at some new Saurian Republic cards. Now, these have been kind of leaked or shown because naughty people at Target have gone selling the decks a little bit early, which is naughty. Boo. But they're out there, and people are talking about them. So it's time that we had a little bit of a chat about them as well. Too many to put into one video, so right now in this video, we are going to have a little bit of a chat. We're going to be focused on, we are going to turn our attention to some lovely new creatures. And why don't we start off having a look at the most exciting of them? It is Rhetor Gallim? Let's go for that, shall we? A free power creature with no armor. But when you play it, your opponent's keys cost +3 amber during their next turn. And when you reap, you may exalt Rhetor Gallim. And if you do, your opponent's keys cost +3 amber during their next turn. Now, at this stage, it should remind an awful lot of you about Lash of Broken Dreams. Lash of Broken Dreams is a previous card that we've seen that makes keys cost +3 amber. Now, the huge difference here, as far as I'm concerned, at least initially, this is a play skill. Lash of Broken Dreams is an artifact with an action. And artifacts come into play exhausted, which means that you can't use this straight away. You have to play it down, wait a turn for it not to be exhausted, and then you can go. Okay. That's alright, I suppose. Little bit sad that it takes a little while, but you can't have it all, ladies and gentlemen, so we might as well just enjoy it. Okay. Whereas Rhetor Gallim, you play it down straight away, your opponent's keys cost +3 amber. But then you can also do this turn after turn. Now, when I say you can do this turn after turn, there is, unfortunately, a rather gigantic catch. And that is that you have to exalt Rhetor Gallim. That's a little bit less good. Now, exalting is one of the new things which is coming in Worlds Collide. And what it essentially says is that you put an amber from the common pool onto the exalted creature. That's what it does. Okay. The problem is that when a creature with amber gets destroyed, the amber that is on the creature goes to the other player. Which means that if you're exalting, you're essentially putting an amber on this creature, and it's a free power creature with no armor, right? It's not exactly going to be that hard to actually take out. And at the point where your opponent does take it out, they're getting themselves an extra amber, and that is, well, shall we say, less than ideal for you. Okay, it's a downside. Now, it's not always necessarily a huge downside. We have seen some Saurian Republic cards that can help here. Axiom of Grisk, for instance, destroys every creature that doesn't have an amber on. So clearly, if you use this to exalt your creature, and then drop an Axiom of Grisk, good news! You're not actually getting destroyed. Well, that's quite nice. You also gain 2 chains, incidentally, so it's not exactly completely foolproof. And we also have Chant of Hubris. Chant of Hubris, you move 1 amber from a creature to another creature. So you can, for instance, exalt one of your creatures, and then move the amber to one of your opponent's creatures, at which point you can destroy them and then you get the amber. So it's not all bad. And especially if you can make the exalting work for you, it's phenomenal. When you play it, I love it. When you reap, and here's the thing, you do it when you reap. So the worst case scenario, the absolute worst case scenario, you gain an amber, your opponent's keys cost +3 for a turn, and they get an amber when they destroy Rhetor Gallim. That's the worst case scenario. But like I say, there are ways to make the amber on it work for you, in which case it's amazing. I love this card. I think it's brilliant. I expect people to have a lot of fun playing it. But how about Primus Unguis? Let's go for that. A 5 power, 1 armor creature, and it reads, each friendly creature gets +2 power for each amber on Primus Unguis. Okay, that's kind of cool. That sounds like a creature that we either want to exalt or we want to capture amber. Because that's the two ways to get amber onto a creature. Either you exalt it or that creature captures it. Oh yeah, when you reap, you exalt it. That's phenomenal. Every time you reap, each of your friendly creatures gets +2 power. Now, the good news is, it is each friendly creature gets +2 power, not put 2 +1 power counters on each friendly creature. The significance of that is that if you put the power counters on, it would only apply to creatures on the board when you reaped and exalted, whereas with it just being each friendly creature gets +2 for each one on there, it counts for creatures that you've just played. That's kind of cool. And of course, there are plenty of other ways that we're going to have to actually exalt your creatures. So, go nuts with all of those. The downside, of course, is that it is tied to Primus Unguis. And as soon as that goes away, you lose it. And the problem is that your 5 power 1 armor, that's not indestructible. Now, the good news is it reads each friendly creature, not each other friendly creature. So if Primus Unguis has, for instance, 3 amber on him, well, then all of a sudden you're an 11 power 1 armor creature, at which point you are getting a lot closer to, ooh, that's kind of cool. And of course, let's not forget, we can always use stuff like the aforementioned Chant of Hubris to move an amber from another creature onto him, and then of course more amber, off you go. It's very dodgy, of course, because there are plenty of cards like, for instance, Lights Out, and no, we don't know what cards are actually going to be in the set. It's just an example, but Lights Out lets you return 2 enemy creatures to their owner's hand. So it doesn't matter how much amber you've got on or how powerful you are, that will stop it. And of course, what happens to the amber? It goes to the other player. Yeah, this is a giant risk-reward creature. Because if you've got, say, 10 amber on Primus Unguis, then what you have is he is a 25 power 1 armor creature, and all your other creatures get +20 power, but as soon as your opponent gets rid of it, your opponent gets 10 amber, so yeah, let's say there's a balance to be made with this particular creature. And finally, Senator Bracchus. Old and wise would be how I describe the look of this creature. A 4 power 0 armor creature. You may spend amber on friendly creatures as if it were in your pool. Ooh, that's quite nice. And when you fight or reap, you exalt Senator Bracchus. Now, this is another one of those instances where you may or may not want to exalt. Because remember, exalting puts amber on, your opponent takes out the creature, they get it. There are going to be plenty of games involving the Saurian Republic where one player exalts too many of their creatures and the other player takes advantage of that and wins the game by getting all of the amber. Okay. Here's the thing though. While he's out, you can spend amber on any of your friendly creatures as if it were in the pool. So if you, for instance, exalt 6 different creatures, and we've seen enough from the Saurian Republic that you may well be able to do so, that's enough to forge a key next turn. And I think the trick with something like Senator Bracchus is to try and spread your amber around. Exalt each of your creatures rather than exalt one over and over again. As much as I adore the idea of getting that Primus dude up to like 20 amber, that's incredibly risky. Senator Bracchus, on the other hand, really wants you to spread the amber round so you can essentially pay for your key somewhere else. And if you've got 3 amber in your pool and 4 amber on your creatures, you're going to be pretty gosh darn happy you got Senator Bracchus. I think in other houses, for instance, Senator Bracchus as a Maverick could be kind of garbage. Although I suppose if you capture amber, that could be really cool. And to be fair, capturing amber from your opponent and then spending it to forge your key using Senator Bracchus would be kind of hilarious. But in a house like the Saurian Republic that really relies on warding and getting amber onto your creatures, giving yourself the opportunity to then spend that to forge keys, I am all in favour, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds wonderful. So they are some new Saurian Republic creatures. I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of pumped about them. But this is a part of the video where I'd like to know how excited / pumped you are about them. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk about games. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where there are weekly bonus podcasts. And you can support the channel if that's what you want to do. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would you? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.